Animals and Deviants, a Detective Renee Hawk story by E.S. Wynne. Chapter 1. Tuesday morning, rainy gray, January 26, 1954. I take the bus downtown, pick up a paper and a pack of Chesterfields from the stand a block from the office. Front page of the paper is all McCarthy, and it makes me sneer. First cigarette I smoke, I put it out on the picture of his face, but not in public, never in public. Rolling the rest of the pack of Chesterfields up in the sleeve of my shirt under my tan duster, I climb the 3 flights of stairs to my office, a little hole in the wall barely big enough for the leather couch and oak desk I've crammed into it. At least the one window has a great view of the fire escape on the brick building next door. Every day, I look out at that fire escape and wish my building had one too. I slap the paper against my desk, then hang up my hat and coat. Pulling the cord on the brass lamp, I turn and click on the radiator, then flick the switch on the fan that sits brooding on the top of my oak filing cabinet. No notes under the door, and it's too early for mail, so I set some coffee to brew in the deluxe. The furniture wax comes next, rubbed into a soiled polishing rag so I can give everything in the office the weekly once-over that keeps it rich and shining. Inevitably, I catch my reflection in the wood, in the chrome on the deluxe, and in the little mirror I keep by the door to make sure my tie is on straight. I catch my reflection, and I can't help but feel anxious as I peer at it to make sure I still look like a man. It's a tic of mine, I suppose. Warped, nervous copies of my face peer back at me, and I scrutinize them for any feminine features that might give me away, might make me a target. Far as anyone knows, I'm Renee Hawk, private detective, and I'm a man. That's the path I've chosen for myself at least. The phone rings, bringing me out of my thoughts and back to the present moment. The black bakelite receiver is cold on my cheek, and it makes me grimace as I sit on my desk and ready my public voice. "Detective Hawk," I say, feeling like I've hit that mail note just right. "Renee, I've got another one." The voice on the other end is familiar enough to take the knot out of my shoulders and make me more casual about my voice. "Lieutenant Callahan," I breathe, equal parts excited and relieved. "Frank, how bad is it?" "Bad. Another kid in the morgue. 19-year-old college boy named Owen Cooper. 16 stab wounds." "Any witnesses?" I ask. "We've got one," he says, and that's enough to get me to sit up. Guy didn't volunteer much, but I got enough out of him to know this was one Captain Bradley is going to put on the bottom of the stack. That's why I called you. Cooper's death is already being pushed off as gang violence, only it ain't gang violence, you catch my meaning? "Yeah," I nod, pulling a Chesterfield from the pack and holding it in the corner of my mouth. Homophile, what the captain would call a deviant. "Yeah, I understand." "And Hawk." Callahan hesitates, and there's something in his voice that catches my attention, makes me set the box of smokes on the desk. "This witness, he says there were 3 guys in white shirts, that one of them was wearing red gloves up his elbows. Thick gloves, leather." "Sounds like our repeat offender." I sigh, propping the receiver between my shoulder and my ear, then clicking my silver lighter until the flame leaps from it. There's a pause, some muffled noise on the other end of the line. I puff at the stick until it catches, and I've got a lungful. The exhale comes sharp, irritated. "Or a copycat. The witness for that stabbing down at the wharf in July of last year said the killer was wearing red gloves, didn't she?" "That's what I was thinking, yeah," Callahan says. "This one's at the other end of town. Alley behind the Bluebird on Brickbat Avenue." "That's the 3rd corpse your boys have found behind the Bluebird since Thanksgiving." I shake my head. "First one was 6 untraceable Thompson rounds to the heart. Second was—" "I know," he cuts me off. "I've been telling the captain we need a regular patrol on site at the Bluebird, but he won't do it. Isn't a priority, he says." "I'll make it a priority," I tell him, setting the Chesterfield in one of the notches on my brown glass ashtray. Send the witness over to my office. I want to know what he's seen. There's a reason that Alleyway's been collecting corpses. I want to know what I'm walking into when I go down to the Bluebird and start poking around. I'll get him a cab. Send him your way, Frank Callahan says. Watch yourself, Renee. Things ain't safe in this city lately. Have they ever been? I ask him with a wry smile. Safe, I mean. For any of us. For people like you and me. Callahan doesn't answer. He hesitates, then hangs up and leaves me sitting there, the dial tone whirring in my ear,